Okay, New York session done. Took one trade on US30. US30 coming into New York session saw this H8 bar that was breaking out of the range high. Inside bar on the H8 that creates a range, and this range continues to exist until there's a breakout bar that closes outside of that range. So clearly saw this on the H8, and I also saw this on the H2. So H2 saw a breakout above previous day high. Just wait for this to load. Broke out above previous day high. Quick buy section, all bullish, looking for continued buys on US30. So once this breakout bar is confirmed, it takes out that range. And at this point, we have higher time frames pushing strong in one direction, a breakout bar on the H8. I'm looking for a trend retracement setup on a lower time frame. So trend retracements, I want to see higher time frames push strong in one direction, and then I want to see a breakout bar on the time frame, which is the H8. And I want to see price retrace back to that breakout level, fake out the momentum time frame, and then take a trade back up to the previous H8 high and possibly further than that. So anytime I see a breakout bar with higher time frames pushing strong, I want to see price retrace back to that breakout level, fake out the momentum time frame, which is the H2 low right over here, and take the trade up to the previous H8 high. Now, I always prefer these fake outs to be closer to that breakout level, so this is not ideal. So I'm looking for a different time frame to possibly frame this trade on, and I saw it on the H2. So H2, we have that breakout bar over here above that previous day high. And so again, when you have a breakout bar with higher time frames pushing strong, first thing I'm looking for is always that trend retracement setup. I want to see price retrace back to that breakout level, fake out the momentum time frame, and then the entry is once price flips that momentum breakout level. So in this case, it did not flip that breakout level, so there was no entry on the H2. And if you don't have a trend retracement setup that plays out, then the next bar, I'm always looking for one of these other setups. So in this case, we have a breakout bar followed by an inside bar above that H2 breakout level. So I know that I'm looking for a trend continuation setup, breakout followed by an inside bar above that breakout level. What I want to see here is price retrace back to that H2 low, fake out the momentum time frame, and then take a trade up to that fake out level. But in this case, inside bar, so either the inside level or all the way up to that high of that range. So at this point, I'm waiting for price to come down and trigger that M30 low as well as the H2 low, but I don't trade US30 until equity open, which is 8:30 over here. So I just stayed on my hands, did not care about this at all. Price was moving in the opposite direction, and right when equity open happens, this is when I'm looking at the market, and initially price shot up. I don't trade that first few minutes of equity open. Anything can happen here. I always stay away from that, but I'm just patiently waiting until price comes and triggers my levels. So at this point, triggers that H2 low, and at this point, I'm looking for one of my cycle alignment patterns. So over here, the way that I'd like to enter is if price can get back above, it'll get above that H2 low, above the breakout level. So this would be a breakout continuation if it does that. It'll be above that breakout level and faking out that setup time frame, which is that H2 low. And so I'd be looking to enter with one of my patterns, reversal pattern, continuation pattern, or a pullback pattern. I'll look at the M30 breakout level. That's that momentum time frame. I can see that we broke out above the breakout high, the peak high, and then we got underneath it. So I immediately know that I'm in a pullback, possible pullback pattern here. Breakout above the high, and then flipping that breakout level. I'm looking for either an aggressive entry, faking out the M30 low, or the safer entry is once we flip that breakout level and get back above it for that pullback continuation move. I don't mind trading these patterns, but my favorite pattern to trade is the reversal pattern because these only happen at the peaks of swing points. And so I looked at the time at this point. 9 o'clock is nearby, really close to that new H1 bar open, and I don't take any trades in between the last 15 minutes of that bar. I always wait for the H1 to open. Those last 15 minutes, anything can happen. Lots of times you'll see some retracement, and even in the next bar, you'll often find yourself in drawdown if you get in too close to that closing time. So I always stay away from that last 15 minutes. And this also helps me because I want to see that reversal pattern. Right now, the M30 breakout level is a breakout high, and I want to see that reversal pattern, and that can only happen if the M30 breakout level gets pushed down. So if this M30 gets breakout level gets pushed down with a breakout of the M30, then I know that we will be trading a reversal pattern. So I was waiting for that. Hopefully that would have happened, and it did. The M30 officially closed in bearish breakout, which pushes that breakout level down. As I said, here's the breakout high, and now we're in a breakout low. So at this point, I'm looking for a reversal. I want to see price get back above that M30 breakout level for an entry to take this up. But unfortunately, market just collapsed over here. So I did not have a bearish bias here. I wasn't quick enough to change my bias. Once it faked out previous day high, got below the daily breakout level at this point, kind of knew that I was wrong with my bias. But the thing with trading momentum is that if there's no momentum, there's no entry at all. So um, did not have any entry here, and I just had to wait for this bar to close. I don't like to chase price. I definitely want to see price retrace, fake out a high in order to take a continuation. So nothing I could do about this. I just watched market go down. And once it closed below the previous day low, now I have officially a bearish bias. So at this point, I'm looking for a price to retrace, fake out that momentum time frame, and then take it down again. But instead, price continued to just break out. And I did not have a setup here. Technically, I have a trend breakout here, but this is not what I'm looking for in a trend breakout. In a trend breakout, what I'm looking for is consolidation, narrow breakout range, and consolidation between two levels. And then right before it breaks out, fakes out the high, and then breakout. And that did not play out for me over here. So I did not. I knew this was going down, but this was not my setup, so I could not take this one. And price just continued to go down. And at this point, I'm also looking at the H1. H2 might be a little bit too long. So I also look at the H1 where I traded on the M1. And I'm basically looking for a fake out of a high to take it down on either of these time frames. And next H1 bar closed in bearish breakout. And again, when you have a bearish breakout with hard time frames pushing in one direction, I'm always looking for a trend retracement setup. So in this case, on the H1, I trade the H1 on the M1. I want to see price retrace to that breakout level, fake out the momentum time frame, and then once it flips the momentum breakout level, that's the entry. So price retraced. Once it triggered this M15 high, this is when I go back to the computer and I'm waiting for a price to flip these breakout levels for an entry. But instead did not do that, almost did. And at this point, we closed in bullish breakout again, which pushes that breakout level up. So previously it was here. Now the breakout level gets pushed up. And at this point, I'm looking for a rejection of the move up and then take an entry as price flips that breakout level. So at this point, this is where I entered. Once price fully rejected that move, this is a breakout reversal. And once it gets below that breakout level, this is where I took my entry. Once it flips that breakout level, that's a false breakout move. And wanted to take it all the way down to the H1 low. So for trend retracement setups, I'm relying on those hard time frame traders to be pushing the market down. And so I take it from the high of that bar and continue to move all the way down to the low. And so that's exactly what happened. Stop loss at the highs and target right at the low. And I took 2R on this move. And that was it. Did not have any continued move here. And then the market ended up just reversing. And that's it. So always annoying when this sort of move happens. Had a bullish bias on this one, and it did not play out. Looking at it again, we're below these breakout levels. So if you had a bearish bias, I could see it having a bearish bias here, but for me, I had a bullish bias, so I was not able to take. Did not see this. Wasn't able to switch my bias quick enough. And so then at this point, I just followed breakout levels. And once the breakout levels flip, that's when I know that I can start looking for a trade. So here's the first time that we start triggering those highs. And at this point, this is when I'm looking for that cycle of realignment. The higher time frames are pushing strong down, lower time frames pushing up. And now once it gets back aligned with that higher time frame, that's when I'm looking to trade. And so that's the one that I took. You can make money going up, going down every single day. It's what's important is that you have a consistent way of setting your bias. And with the way that I set my bias, I had a bullish bias on this one. So unfortunately, did not catch that one. But at least I took a little bit, and that was it. So I was looking at US30 because not this one. I was looking at US30 because we're close to the previous day high coming into the session right over here. We were right at that previous day high level, while all the other ones, SPX and NAS, were way above. And so I liked being closer to those key levels, and this is why I focused on US30. And that was it. I had others that I was looking at as well on Euro USD. I took a buy in London, and New York I had a sell bias, but market just moved a little bit too fast, and I was not able to catch anything there. So only one trade on US30, and that's it. So trend retracement, H1 trend retracement, strong trend pushing down, price retraced, and I got in on that false breakout move. Okay, that's it.